This is the After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
Well, that was a first for me. I logged in with one computer and not the other. I'm all discombobulated after a long Mark Thompson show. Thank you for being here on the After Party Live, for kicking on over from the Mark Thompson show to this one. I really appreciate it. And I have some great stories for you today, including the new rankings of the best camping spots or places to go camping are out. So we'll get to that. And there's a story about bug foam. Right up my alley, you know what I'm saying, so we'll get to that as well. Let's jump right into it because we don't have a lot of time now and we have a lot of stories to cover. The first thing I wanted to show you is something I don't see every day. I don't know about you guys, but there's this story about these porcupines. You say porcupine or porcupine? Porcupines. They escaped from this farm in Scotland, and they apparently caused quite a scene when they were spotted wandering through a residential neighborhood, and we have video. So let's take a look at these little fellas. I don't know if they're fellas. Maybe that's we're genderizing them. I don't know. As they wander around this neighborhood in Scotland, just doing their thing that porcupines do. There they are. Look at that. Yeah. So they get loose apparently from whatever. Look at how cute they are. They escaped from this, small animal farm, the latch of the gate out, and they went for a, wild ride. And so they're seen wandering all over the place. They're eventually caught and taken back, and everybody's safe, and they're safe, and everything's fine. But I just thought the video of them doing that was really funny. So this all happened in Scotland at Dalscone Farm Park near Dumfries. And they wandered about a half mile away. No, a full mile. Yeah, wandered for about a full mile. As a matter of fact, the owner didn't know that his porcupines had escaped until someone called to say, like, "Okay, your porcupines are wandering through my backyard over here." They were able to get them into a trailer, brought them back to the facility. The park joked on their social media that the porcupines broke the internet when they were spotted by residents, because people were all on the neighborhood pages going, "Are those porcupines in my backyard?" Again, nobody was injured. Porcupines fine. All is well following the porcupine incident in Scotland. This could have been a lot worse. Apparently, when it's nighttime, bees are more calm, but there was a bee accident when a truck carrying bees overturned on a roadway. This happened in Natchez, I think is the way you say it. Yeah. And it's a horrible accident. You can see everybody on the side of the road here, right? I hope I'm not muted. You can see everybody. They had to call out all these beekeepers, everyone to come in, because this 18-wheeler carrying all these bees, look at all the beekeepers out there, overturned. So in the evening, in the dark, bees, I guess, have a different temperament. They're a little bit more calm. And so when they had to go out there in the nighttime and collect them all, they were more calm and it wasn't as big of a thing. But the truck overturned Sunday night in front of a healthcare facility. It was an 18-wheeler that was hauling all these hives from Addy Honey Farms in Woodville. And they had to summon the beekeepers to come pick them all back up. One of them said, "This is my first bee catastrophe." The majority of the bees stayed in the vicinity after the accident, thank goodness, because again, it was nighttime and they were all mellow. And they were able to be contained in or near their hives, and no one was hurt, even though there was a bee swarm that happened because of this. So yeah, no thank you. If I was behind that overturned trailer, I'm gonna turn around and get out of here. No. This is not a party I would want to go to, but hey, to each their own. Maybe you want to try it, maybe you don't. But someone has decided it's a good idea to collect snake venom and serve it at a party. Yeah, no thanks. I'm going to say no thanks to that. Yeah. Snake venom shooters, anyone? I guess instead of having drugs at your party, you're using snake venom as the party drug. This is an Indian YouTuber. His name is Elvish Yadav, and he actually got arrested for supplying snake venom to be used as a recreational drug at a rave that he threw. This guy has 15 million YouTube subscribers. Why him and not me? I would never do anything like that. Come on now. Maybe that's why. He was detained under the Wildlife Act. A party that he threw apparently in November was raided on suspicion that snake venom was being used as a party drug by partygoers. So police come out, they question people on suspicion of snake smuggling, and this man, this YouTuber, gets named as the alleged organizer of the party and the snake venom supply. He is famous because he won the Indian version of Big Brother. He's denying all the charges here. The 9 snakes included cobras were recovered from the party, along with 20 milliliters of snake venom. He has now been remanded to 14 days of judicial custody, and I guess the Animal Welfare Organization of India is involved in this as well. I don't know what it does, but snake venom apparently is often used at rave parties. 13 cases of snake venom being used as a recreational substance in India, so maybe it's a big deal there. I haven't heard of it here, and I don't know what it does to you, although I have heard that when the venom takes hold of you, that maybe you can have some type of hallucinogenic thing happen. But doesn't that seem a little dangerous? I wouldn't want to do it. I'm going to the chat. What do you know about snake venom? Is that something you're going to do? Oh, mama, sorry about your fussy baby. Maybe he just needs a big old toot. Hopefully something happens there and everybody's okay. Yeah, I don't know about the snake venom. I don't know what it does to you. All my life, I never heard of such a thing. Yikes. All right, let's move on to, and I'm sorry about this, but you guys know, I find this fascinating. What is that, you ask? What is it? Well, it's bug anus foam. That's what it is. I'm not making this up. And perhaps, thank you. Perhaps you're like, oh no, where is she going with this? Really? I guess it's good for your face. Hey, this is a way these bugs defend themselves. It's kind of gross. This is a European alder spittlebug. It's also called in normal parlance a frog hopper. And it toots out this foamy substance that forms a protective jacket. It has some wonderful properties, this foam, which apparently may inspire a whole new line of skincare products. Okay, before we even start, if you tell me bug butt foam could get rid of every wrinkle or big pore or whatever is going on my face, I'm still a little skeptical and thinking I'm not putting this on my face. Maybe, I don't know. The bugs create the foam during their nymph phase, which is the stage of development before they reach full adulthood. Right at that phase, they're vulnerable by being eaten up by predators, and so their anal foam acts like a sticky trap that protects them from harm. It desiccates as fast as water, and predators, once they're captured, struggle to free from the drying foam, becomes stickier. The study says the adhesion is one of the numerous foam characteristics that have multifunctional effects, which promote the survival of these very interesting spittlebugs. The reason it's so sticky? Perhaps because they eat xylem sap, which is a watery fluid used by plants to transport water up and down the stem. Most of it passes through their digestive tract, but a lot of it is also used to create this foamy material, which shoots out of their behind. It's a complicated process, according to scientists. The foam is created by rhythmical abdominal movements, with the abdominal tip alternately dipping into the fluid and forcing a small bubble out of the opening. By this, bubble after bubble appears until the whole body is covered in foam, coating the outside of the nymph. But it evaporates, again, faster than water. So it becomes dry and sticky really, really fast. The amount of time that the predator insect needs to clean themselves off from the foam is the time it takes for the nymph to escape capture. But lab experiments of the foam show that it has antimicrobial activity. Antimicrobial. Thank you. I can speak English. I have been known to speak it in the past, and I plan to do so in the future. This aids in thermoregulation. It protects the insect from desiccation, absorbs light, UV protection. They say the fact that these nymphs use their own excrement suggests another advantage of this foam, that it's less taxing than if they generated it all themselves. What can we do with this, human beings ask? Well, because of all these properties, antimicrobial, right? I don't know. I would think there were other things that we have that already do these things, but maybe this is the way to go. Hey, got to do what you got to do. So we could see a whole new facial line from bug butt foam. Thank you, and you're welcome. And that's the grossest story of the show. We'll move on. Mark touched on this story. Wait, before we do that, I have to go and see what you guys are saying about butt foam, because it's waste not, want not, says Deborah. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh, before we move on, I do want to say thank you. Thank you to Wes, who jumped in with this $5 super sticker before the show even began. Huge thank you. And I'm sorry that your super sticker is on the picture of the butt foam. Julie, thank you for the $5 super sticker as well. Of course, the show, like all three of our shows, the Nikki Maduro show, the Mark Thompson show, and the After Party Live, all crowdfunded. So that you guys would jump in and do that is super cool. Thank you very much for it. Let's move on to this art that was found in the attic of a man who passed away. This art was taken from Okinawa, and I'm doing the story even though Mark did it because I have some more interesting pictures to show you. But it was found in the attic of this home in Massachusetts. There were 22 pieces of stolen Japanese antiques, including a hand-drawn map, ceramics, portraits of Okinawan kings, some dating as far back as the 1700s. They were uncovered last year inside the residence of a World War II vet. His kids were sorting through his belongings after he passed away. Right when they found all this stuff, the family called the FBI, and the artifacts made their way to Japan. The family does wish to remain anonymous, but they've returned everything. And that included 6 portraits, a hand-drawn map of Okinawa, several ceramic pieces as well. Again, most of these pieces date back to the 18th and 19th century. And FBI investigators say this is what makes a culture. And without it, you're really taking away their history. Here's one of the ceramic pieces that was found. Can you imagine? Like, that's just up in your dad's attic? Man, here's another one. So beautiful and being returned or already returned there. Japan plans to hold a formal repatriation ceremony for these artifacts. They say it's very meaningful that the FBI, along with others in the U.S., have cooperated to realize this return. And they weren't the only ones. The Smithsonian got involved, helping to make sure they were returned to the right place, so that they were packaged appropriately and sent to the right place. But the FBI says the family was taken by surprise by this because their dad never served in this area in the Pacific. And some of these items in their dad's possession, and this is how they really figured it out, were entered into the FBI's National Stolen Art File about 20 years ago. That's a database that helps the public and law enforcement determine if an item was ever even stolen. In 1945, during the Battle of Okinawa in World War II, there were documents and treasures from the Ryukyu Kingdom taken. The Ryukyu Kingdom, hopefully I'm saying that right, Ryukyu Kingdom was from 1429 to 1879. And in 2001, Japanese officials registered these items with the U.S. National Stolen Art File. The FBI said inside that house, an unsigned, typewritten letter stating that the items were collected in Okinawa during the last days of World War II. So far, because of this stolen art file, more than 20,000 items have been recovered through it since it was launched in, I think, 2004. So, there are still several Okinawan antiques missing, and those include portraits and a royal crown. So, if anybody knows where the royal crown is, they're looking for it, hoping that gets returned as well. Let us move toward this. I love a good lottery story, okay? I really do. Yesterday, we had a story about how the power of positive thinking played a role in someone's win, or may have. Guy in Michigan walks in, there's a new clerk. He says, "You're the clerk that's going to sell me a winning ticket." And he ends up winning $500,000. In this case, the clerk also plays a role. And this happened in Maryland, where a store clerk picked a man's $50,000 winning lottery numbers. The guy asked the clerk to please choose a set of pick 5 lotto numbers, and he ends up winning 50 grand. This man is from Baltimore. His name is Alex. He says he usually only plays the Powerball and the Mega, but a friend encouraged him to give pick 5 a try while they were visiting the Nicky Food Mart and Lottery in Baltimore. So he asked the clerk for some help in choosing his numbers. He said, "I never played this before, and I couldn't think of 5 random numbers, so I told the retailer, pick all the numbers for me." He said he wasn't expecting to win anything, but he checked the ticket a few days later, and he was shocked to see he won $50,000 in the drawing on March 14th. He said, "I couldn't believe what I was hearing." His winnings will go toward paying bills and treating his wife. He said he plans to continue now playing pick 5. After something like this happens, he said, you've got to feel more motivated to play, and I plan on playing more often. Now, do you know what he didn't say there? He didn't say, "Oh, and by the way, I'm going to go back, find that clerk, and give them something. $100, I don't know, $1,000, however much. That person picked your numbers. I would think that you would want to include them in what you're going to do with your winnings, but maybe that's just me. I don't know, because you wouldn't have won without that person." Something beautiful is happening in China. This is a giant lantern, and it's setting a world record. The world's largest standing lantern created in China. They broke the Guinness World Record for this massive flower-shaped lantern. It's shaped like a peony, and it was made for the 2024 Spring Festival in the Year of the Dragon at the Peony Pavilion. This thing is 147 feet high. It is 8.83 inches long. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Let me say that again. 147 feet, 8.83 inches long, 81 feet and almost 6 inches tall, and 64 feet and 7.59 inches wide. Well, that's pretty big. It was made by a team of 200 artists to resemble a peony, which is the city's official flower. It weighs more than 99,000 pounds, and it requires an 88,000 pound counterweight so that it can remain standing. It's huge, and yes, it sets the Guinness Book of World Records for the largest standing lantern, and there it is in China. Kind of cool looking. Apparently, if you're angry, feeling stressed out, feeling like you need to just release, some people vent. People call you and they're like, "I need to get this out." They're talking about something stressing them out. Well, there's a new study that shows venting to other people really doesn't release your anger. You would think it does, but it doesn't. You think holding it in is bad for you, makes you feel stressed out, that venting would let it out, or release it somehow. Pardon me. But people who vent about a source of anger, might feel better in that moment, but it doesn't really make them less angry at all. Instead, they say stress reducing techniques, deep breathing, mindfulness, meditation, yoga, even, those are more effective alternatives than griping. Yeah, sometimes when you gripe, you just feel angry all over again, and it doesn't go away, and you're still angry. The senior researcher said, I think it's really important to bust the myth that if you're angry, you should blow off steam and get it off your chest. Venting anger might sound like a good idea, but apparently there's not a shred of scientific evidence to support that there's any type of catharsis when it comes to your anger. But conversely, let's go to another study about pent up stress and how, in some cases, there's a correlation to early death. Too much energy spent fighting stress is linked to earlier death in men. This is a study that enrolled 743 men through the landmark Veterans Affairs Normative Aging Study. Boston University was involved, as well as the Avedisian School of Medicine, done between 1993, their deaths were in 2020. They say the amount of effort expended by older men to cope with stressful events has the greatest impact on their mortality risk over and above how stressful an event is or the coping strategy that they use to deal with it. The study was published Tuesday, and that is what it indicates. So, what they say is they've found a total coping effort was associated with 14% higher risk of all-cause mortality, right? The finding of the study, published in the Journals of Gerontology, was independent of problem stressfulness, demographics, or health conditions. A benefit-cost ratio coping efficacy to total coping effort that the researchers define as coping efficiency was apparently not associated with a shorter lifespan in adjusted models. But here's what they did say. The men studied had an average age of 68 and a half years old, mostly with some college education. 87% of them were married. Over 16 years and 8 months of follow-up, 473, or 64% of those men died. Participants assessed to have expended the least effort to deal with stress were older than those with medium and high effort and had fewer chronic health conditions as well. Most coping strategies were weakly to moderately positively correlated, and adaptive coping strategies were employed more frequently than the dysfunctional responses like avoidance or confrontation. Of those, only social coping, reaching out to others, was significantly associated with mortality risk, with a 15% higher risk of dying from all causes. The study, though, says coping include other than directed action may deplete your emotional, physical resources instead of lifting them up. They also established a link between higher problem stressfulness and a greater coping effort. I don't know how you're supposed to cope, because everybody has stress, right? Man, woman, I don't know. They say this study goes contrary to previous research on problem stressfulness and specific coping strategies, that the total coping effort may be an important indicator for longevity among aging men. So how much older men did in response to stressors mattered more for their survival than what they did. Interesting. The finding held up even after they considered individual differences in demographics, lifestyle, and everything else. Studying coping, they say, is important because this is an aspect of the stress health equation that's within our control, yet it's very much overlooked. Researchers say psychological aging studies have shown people gain tremendous ability and expertise in coping with stressors over the span of their lives, so that by the time you reach older age, that you can use fewer coping strategies to achieve the same results that younger people do that have to work a lot harder to deal with their problems. The findings show that if an older adult deviates from the pattern by using a lot of energy to deal with stressors, it's a significant sign they're struggling and they don't have what they need to manage the problem at hand. So, stress. Don't vent. Don't expend a lot of energy on it. How are we supposed to fix it all? I don't know. How about this? How about instead of that, we take our minds somewhere else and we go to the Bronze Age. It's an old Bronze Age village where a lot of really cool things were found. They say this place was pretty cozy until Britain's equivalent of Pompeii happened. This whole place was destroyed by fire 3,000 years ago. It was a small little village in the Bronze Age. There were 5 circular dwellings built on stilts about 6.5 feet above a river in eastern England. They were full of little knickknacks that paint a picture of their daily life about 3,000 years ago. They call it Must Farm, M-U-S-T, Must Farm. They say it was a peaceful settlement constructed by skilled builders until a catastrophic fire engulfed the whole thing and the buildings and the materials plunged into the muddy river below. And then in come the archaeologists from the University of Cambridge diving into the details of this Must Farm settlement. They say it dates back to 850 BC, built in a swampy wetland called the Fens or Fenlands. It was excavated in 2015 and 2016 after it was discovered on the edge of the town of Whittlesea, northwest of Cambridge. The people were confident, accomplished home builders. They had a design that worked. And while excavating the site, they said there was a sense these Bronze Age residents had only just left. You could almost see and smell their world, from the glint of metal tools hanging on wattled walls to the sharp milkiness of brewed porridge even. Let's take a look at some of the pictures they saw. Here are some of the pottery uncovered in the muddy river. You can see a hafted axe shows they were skilled builders. Look at that. Old tools from that long ago. Really cool. You can see it's charred and had burned in that fire. They even found porridge. They used a spoon and a bowl used for porridge in this region. The Must Farm dig contained 5 total structures with walkways connecting them, surrounded by a fence about 6.5 feet high made from sharpened posts. But the original settlement, they think, was likely twice as big. During the 20th century, half the remains were removed when that area was quarried. So they think that this site may have been home to 60 people living in little family units in this area. The area was thick with vegetation. The boggy ground below cushioned the burned remains of the building when they fell from the fire. And that is what created what's being called an archaeological mirror of what had one time stood above the marshland, so that they could map out all these structures and figure out exactly how this place looked. Conducting research on the Must Farm, according to one archaeologist, is a bit like getting an estate agent's tour of a Bronze Age stilt house. In one of the houses, they found ceramic and wooden containers, including cups, bowls, large storage jars, cooking pots, even designed so they stacked inside of one another to save space. They found metal tools along the building's eastern side, an empty spot on the northwestern side that they think was usually used for sleeping. So it's really this very cool way to be able to look into what their life was like. It appears that they saved their meat juices to use as toppings for porridge. The site providing them with hints of recipes for Bronze Age breakfasts and roast dinners. Chemical analyses of the bowls and jars showed traces of honey and ruminant meats like deer, suggesting these ingredients were combined to form a prehistoric honey-glazed venison. So interesting what they did back then. All right, I'm going to the chat. Going back to it. Chris says they found iron nails in million-year-old rocks. That's kind of cool. I like it. Yeah. Calvin says that fire started from someone tossing a cigar. I don't know, Calvin. I was kind of thinking of the movies I've seen with the villages like that, right? And, the bad guys always come torch the village. Maybe that was it. Who knows? I don't know. Huge thank you to Roz coming in with a $2 super sticker. Roz, thank you so much for your support. Luis, Kim, go buy a couple Mega Millions tickets. Any winnings equal a show contribution. Oh, Luis, that's so nice. I will, as a matter of fact. I think it's gonna pop. I think that the both the Mega Millions and the Powerball, they're popping right up there and up to the $1 billion level. So that's cool. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. All right, let's head to. I don't know if you guys are gonna like this one. It's about nurse bots. Yeah. You want a real person as your nurse? No. Sorry, you get the nurse bot. Why? It's a lot cheaper than a real nurse. That's right. Silicon Valley wants to deploy AI nurse bots to handle your care. This is being done by medical startup Hippocratic AI and Nvidia, and they have made this nurse bot that has an empathy inference. So the AI can be empathetic to your needs. Okay. They have this animated human avatar chatbot, which appears on tablets and smartphone screens. And the nurse bot can talk to you and give you information about all kinds of things, your post op screening or directions, in telling someone how to inject medication, or all kinds of things. And here's why we'll probably see more nurse bots, because medical providers can purchase a nurse bot for less than $9 an hour to handle these tasks, instead of paying an actual registered nurse, in some cases, $90 an hour. So if you don't think we're not going to be seeing these nurse bots anytime soon, I would argue no, we're going to. We're totally going to, because it's cheaper for them. And why wouldn't they? So the fine people at Nvidia have put out this video showing us, showing us what the nurse bot can do and what it looks like. I have it for you. Here's their video. I have to take down the picture in order to get to the video. Sorry, you guys. Okay, here's what it looks like when the nurse bot takes over your care. This is what it says. I don't know if you think this is creepy or not.
Hi, Sarah. I'm Rachel, your AI care manager. How are you doing after your appendectomy? Great to hear that you're back home with Dennis. I noticed that Dr. Chang has prescribed you some antibiotics, specifically ciprofloxacin and metronidazole, due to your ruptured appendix. Were you able to get these medications?
I was. I did forget to mention to the doctor that I am allergic to penicillin. Is it still okay to take the medications?
Great question. The antibiotics you've been prescribed, ciprofloxacin and metronidazole, don't contain penicillin. So it's perfectly safe for you to take them. Can you begin taking them today?
Yeah, I certainly can. Do you have any tips for faster recovery?
Given that you have diabetes, keeping your blood sugar levels in check will be beneficial for your wound healing. Your hemoglobin A1C was at a healthy level of 5.5, but your glucometer readings from yesterday were a bit on the high side. So keep taking your metformin and try to steer clear of foods high in carbs. How does that sound to you?
I think I'll be able to avoid the carbs for the week. I need to go right now, but it was great talking to you.
I'm glad we had this talk. I'll pass along your progress to Dr. Chang.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Oh, so there you go. You got your little nurse bot. I don't know. I mean, she gave more information than you could get online, right? I mean, we got information about lab test results, all types of things. I'm still feeling a little weird about that, though. I want a real person. And the patient is conversing with the nurse bot as if it is a real person, and it isn't. I guess all the information gets printed out and given to the doctor. I don't know. You wouldn't need to chart it because the conversation is all right there. But it's weird. And is that where we want to go? I don't think so. That kind of oogs me out a little bit. Lori says, I think useful, but doubt I would converse with it like that from my end. Exactly. Right? I guess there would be a way that we talk to people and a way that we talk to AI bots, as if, like, don't care if you're rude or whatever. I don't know. It was a very friendly robot. That's true. It's programmed to be friendly. She seems a little Star Trekky. It's true. I don't know. Wes says, just wait. Oh, Wes, just wait till it's not on a screen, but a humanoid standing in front of you. The I don't think I'm ready for it. Yeah, it's creepy, Trevor. Totally agree. Lori says people won't read the instructions given in post visits. But do you ignore the nurse bot when it calls? I mean, I don't know. Deborah says we might as well just merge with AI and be done with it. Might as well just get it over with. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sitting here in a room talking to myself, but I know you're there. So I'm really talking with you, a person, a human being, right? I know you're in your car or you're by your computer or you're by your wherever your podcast is, whatever. I know that you're there. And so when I'm speaking, I'm not speaking with myself or speaking to the computer. I'm speaking with you. So, and thanks to the chat, we're able to have this interactive conversation. That's different to me than pulling up an iPad or your smartphone and having the nurse bot tell me that, it's time to pick up my prescription and to please make sure I've taken my medication today. I don't know. Gordon says if you don't answer the call, they might send out the police for a health check. I guess that's where we're going with it. Mindy says I talk to Alexa all the time. She even sings. Meredith, that's not the same as another human being. Thankfully, no fake concern expressed. Oh, Meredith, how are you today? Have you taken your medication? How are you feeling? I mean, can you imagine this not genuine nurse bot? Please. Mimi says it's a bit odd. I don't like it because it will emulate jobs for human beings. That's right. And where's all the $90 an hour nurses? What are they going to do? Deidre doesn't trust AI with her health care. John says, how do you know I'm not AI? That's true. I could be talking to an AI viewer listener. Louise says, is it really you, Kim, or a clever Musk-produced bot? I think if it was bot, she'd be cuter. Right? She'd be skinnier. She'd be like the ideal of beauty. I think you could tell I'm the real deal, right? I do like a sarcastic nurse bot. If, I wouldn't want the polite one. If I got to choose the kind of nurse bot they were going to give me, it would be the one that had sarcasm. Absolutely. I agree with you, Chris. The soul is what makes us human, and you can't fake that. That's not real. That's fake. It's absolutely fake. All right. I want to thank our ongoing contributors for this show. Not only did Wes contribute with a super sticker today, but he's also an ongoing contributor. So thank you to Wes T for that. Thank you to Paul T as well, and the nice words that you sent. Isadora L, thank you for that. Jim S, so appreciate you as well. Thank you to the ongoing contributors to the After Party Live for keeping this show up and running, and we're going to keep doing that. So Walter says, you definitely are the real deal. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's go to our entertainment news. This is kind of sad. It's one of these pandemic relationships coming to a close. That's it. Ariana Grande is officially divorcing her husband. His name is Dalton Gomez. They've been married for about 3 years, so it didn't last quite that long. They tied the knot in 2021, and it was one of these pandemic relationships where they locked down together. And so when she made videos during lockdown, he would appear in them. They had pictures of domestic life, showing her cooking, showing them hugging in the kitchen. But apparently they separated more than a year ago. So after the pandemic was over, they were out. The divorce was officially signed off by a Los Angeles court on Tuesday. Ariana Grande has to make a one-time payment of $1.25 million to Mr. Gomez, and he'll get half of the profits from the sale of their Los Angeles home as well. She also has to cover $25,000 in his legal fees. So they started dating in 2020. They quarantined together during the lockdown, got married, and then after 2 years of marriage, separated, and now the divorce is final. So, weird things happened during the pandemic. But speaking of Ariana Grande, this is a sweet story. She now has kind of created this situation for her grandmother. making her grandmother at age of 98 the oldest artist to chart on Billboard's Hot 100. She calls her grandma Nana. And Nana, or Nona, just hit a Billboard record because Ariana Grande featured her grandma, or her Nona, on the song and listed her as a co-writer. Right? Kind of cool. The grandmother's name is Marjorie Grande, and she just made music history, becoming the oldest artist to chart on the Billboard Hot 100, breaking the record after her 30-year-old granddaughter's new single, Ordinary Things, hit number 55 on the chart. And Marjorie is credited as a co-writer and also as a singer on that track. Ordinary Things is off of the album Eternal Sunshine, which launched at number 1 on the Billboard 200. And so I guess Marjorie is now the oldest artist ever on the Billboard's Hot 100. So that's kind of a cool thing. I love it. They share that. That's really nice. Marjorie's 98, by the way. You hear this over and over again. Oh, is Idris Elba going to be the new James Bond? Is Sam Heughan going to be the new James Bond? But now there's this story. I'm going to take that chat down. Sorry, Walter, I left that up. That's what happens when I'm by myself. Grandma can sing. Apparently she can, Calvin. Who knew? Yes. Apparently this guy is going to be the next James Bond. Allegedly. Okay, there's a story that says Aaron Taylor Johnson, who was in the Avengers and also a movie called Kick-Ass, has been chosen as the next James Bond. He's 33. He says the rumors linking him with James Bond are charming and wonderful, but there is a source apparently telling The Sun that Bond is Aaron's job if he wants to accept it, that there's a formal offer on the table, and right now they're just waiting to hear back. I have never heard of Aaron Taylor Johnson, but maybe he'll be the new 007 secret agent. I don't know. They're currently working on this script, and they're preparing to shoot a new 007 movie. And as far as Eon Productions is concerned, Aaron Taylor Johnson is going to sign his contract in the coming days so they can start preparing for this big announcement. They say he's the perfect person to play Bond and will pick up where Daniel Craig left us off. So, is he going to be the new Bond? I don't know. I mean, he kind of has I guess he has a Bond look. I've never seen him in anything. I don't know. Everyone has such a strong feeling about James Bond and who should be the next Bond and whatnot. But speaking of Idris Elba, I can tell you this. He's doing something really cool, and he's making a new city. This is going on in where his father was born, in Sierra Leone. So there's an architecture company working with Idris Elba who's funding this to master plan the smart city for up to 1 million people. The BBC says they're creating this master plan for the entire island as part of a project led by Idris Elba, whose father was born in Sierra Leone, and Siaka Stevens, grandson of the country's former president, Siaka Stevens. Elba described the plans to redevelop the 65-mile-long island into a self-reliant smart city as a dream. Here's what he said. It's a dream. I work in the make-believe business. It's about, though, being self-reliant. It's about bringing an economy that feeds itself and has growth potential. He said, part of me wants to build that beautiful retirement home for my mom. My mum, he said, never in my lifetime would I have thought I could build the foundations for a new smart city. He said, I'm not qualified for that, but I am qualified to dream big. This is being financed through a public-private partnership. A few details of the development have been released. It'll be focused on the town of Bonth, B-O-N-T-H-E, Bonth, which is the largest settlement on the island, has a population of about 10,000. The whole 230 square mile island is within the project's scope, up to the potential of up to 1 million people could live there. So, They have an energy company, Octopus, developing a strategy for electricity generation based on wind power. It's a series, the latest in a series of smart cities that have been proposed around the world. So we'll see if Idris Elba is able to lead the way on this and pull it off. A smart city sounds kind of cool. I have a story that I wanted to get to today, and it is about the best camping list. This list is out, the best campgrounds in America. But today, we'll be focusing on the 8 California campgrounds that are mentioned among the best in America. Because usually, if you're going to go camping, it's going to be around where you live, right? And there's possibility that some of you don't live in California, but I think a lot of us do. So this is one of the top places to camp on the list, and it is the Santa Cruz Redwoods RV Resort located in Felton. It made it to number 4 on the top campgrounds in the United States. It's in the Santa Cruz Mountains, got a clean, family-oriented campground, full hookup sites. They've got a clubhouse, they've got Wi-Fi, fishing, access to the nearby beaches in Santa Cruz, golf courses, trails, and that, they say, is what makes it a top RV resort in the California Redwoods. The rates start at $65 a night to roll your RV in there and stay. And it doesn't say whether they have tent camping there. But if you've ever camped in the Big Basin area, Felton, all those spots, it's so beautiful. The redwoods are just so magical. Really pretty. Next one, Jackson Rancheria makes the list as well. It comes in at number 5 of the top campgrounds in the United States because of the top tier amenities. They've got level cement pads for your RV, fresh cut lawns, pool, spa, 9-hole putting greens, a dog park, walking trail, laundry facilities, a clubhouse, and, if you were wondering, very easy access to the casino's 24/7 action. They say it's a perfect blend of relaxation and excitement, and that one is about $80 a night. So this one I can definitely get behind. Making the list at number 6 of the top campgrounds in the United States, it is the Paradise by the Sea Beach and RV Resort. Oh, look at that. A little outdoor bar on the beach. Camping? Sure, you could talk me into it in this case. All right. Paradise by the Sea in Oceanside, California, offers the resort-style amenities, including a pool, hot tub, free HD cable TV, Wi-Fi, access to Buccaneer Park and Beach, making it the perfect place to enjoy Southern California's North Shore. Rates start at $75 a night. Number 5 of the top RV campgrounds, and number 2 of the top large campgrounds, and number 1 top campground for groups is Sun Outdoors Paso Robles. There it is. That's the main clubhouse area. This is a campground in the Paso Robles wine region, offering luxurious RV camping with pools, spas, fire pits. They've got a wellness center. They've got dog parks. You've got outdoor wine tasting, outdoor movies, all at this multi-award winning location. $89 a night is where the rates start to stay here. Number 3 for top tent campgrounds is Lake Nacimiento Resort. This is in Bradley, California. It's really pretty. I have to say, I've never been to Bradley, California. Maybe it warrants a visit. They've got 165 miles of pristine shoreline along the Central Coast. It offers the ultimate family adventure with activities like fishing, hiking, and water sports on their 18-mile lake. They've got a new marina, really pretty views. They say it's the ideal destination for a fun-filled getaway, $47 a night. This, I've heard of it. I've heard of before. A lot of people love it. It's Cassini Ranch, and it is here in the North Bay in Sonoma County in Duncan Mills, California, and it ranks number 4 for top tent campgrounds, number 4 on that list. Cassini Ranch Family Campground. It's a family-owned RV park and campground. This family has owned it since 1965. It's very close to the Sonoma County coastline. They've got a mile of riverfront along the Russian River as well. You can paddle, you can feed horses, you can go fishing, you can have fun on the big jumping pillow. There's a Willow Creek State Park nearby for other outdoor adventures. Starts at $52 a night. And I'll say if you're going there, you should probably book early because it's very popular and a lot of people do go there. Number 2 in the nation for top mid-sized campgrounds is in Lake Elsinore, and it's called Launch Point. Looks pretty nice, I'll say. It's RV camping with 7 unique spaces, including vintage trailers. They've yurts. They have a range of amenities. They've got a canopy court playground, a splash pad, something for every camper's desire for relaxation and adventure. $60 a night. And lastly, Sun Outdoors by San Diego Bay. This one is in Chula Vista, California. Looks pretty good. They have a lot of different pools at this one. It ranks number 4 for top campgrounds for digital nomads. Experience California living at San Diego Bay's newest upscale RV resort. They've got vacation rentals, RV sites, amenities like a breakfast bar, private cabana. It's right outside of San Diego. And this one's the most expensive on the list, about $120 a night to stay at this campground. So, the thinking is this year that domestic travel will be in high demand, a 35% increase from last year, and almost all of overnight stays at the winning campgrounds cost less than a similar booking at hotels or short-term rentals like Airbnb or VRBO. So the camping continues to be accessible. They say it's an enriching means of exploration, and this new best of list shows how many options that we have camping, not only in North America, but here in California specifically. So if you want more information, you can check it out. The 2024 Camp Spot Awards, CAMPSPOT, Camp Spot Awards. So I don't know how many of you are campers, but you know, camping can be fun. If you're not laying on the hard ground with bugs, I'm all for it. Let's have this be the last story of the day because I think it's very interesting. It's a space balloon floating above Earth, and it seems that for $500,000, $500,000, you can have dinner inside of the space balloon. Would you want to do it? No thanks. I'll have dinner on the ground. Thank you very much. There's this new luxury space tourism company called Space VIP. They're taking reservations right now for what they call a stratospheric dining experience. 6 participants will enjoy a Michelin star restaurant catered trip into suborbit. No rockets, no zero gravity. Scheduled to launch as early as 2025 from Florida's Space Coast. So the travelers will gently lift into the sky aboard this pressurized cabin of the spaceship Neptune, a supposedly carbon-neutral space balloon designed for an elite getaway startup company called Space Perspective. Over the course of 6 hours, here's what happens. You will be wined and dined by Rasmus Monk, head chef at Alchemist, which is a 2 Michelin star holistic cuisine restaurant. It's a meal that doubles as an intentional story to inspire thought and discussion on the role of humanity in protecting our planet while challenging the diner to re-examine the relationship with Earth and those who inhabit it. So diners can ponder this while watching the sunrise over the Earth's curvature from approximately 100,000 feet above sea level. You embark on this unprecedented culinary odyssey to the cosmos, marking a pivotal moment in human history. This inaugural voyage is but the first chapter in Space VIP's mission to harness the transformative power of space travel to elevate human consciousness and shape the course of our collective evolution. Gee, all that for $500,000. That sounds pretty good when you put it like that. It's interesting. I don't know. I'll show you a picture of inside the balloon. So it does look like you'll be comfortable, for your journey to see the curvature of the earth and have a Michelin starred meal and hang out with other rich people that can afford to drop the $500,000. So sorry, technically it's $495,000. Here's what it looks like inside. Pretty good viewing windows in the space balloon. I don't know. Are you ready for that? Are we doing it? We're not doing it. Calvin prefers to go to the French Laundry. All right. Walter would do it if he had the money, but he doesn't. Really, if you had $500,000, that's how you'd spend it? No. Louise says, looks like another tourist death trap. Titanic, anyone? I'm not doing that. I mean, I know they say balloon, and it does look balloony, but you know what? What if your balloon pops? What if it's hit by space junk? I don't know. What if something malfunctions and all of a sudden these comfortable seats go plummeting straight down to the earth? The 2-star Michelin meal goes flying. I guess they don't care. They got their $500,000 out of you. I don't know. Wow. No thanks. Gordon would have to win the lottery first. John, with the scientific assessment, if it loses pressure, you'd probably die about as fast as those dudes in the mini sub. Yeah, I would think so. If you could you please click the like button for me? Thank you so much. And if you haven't subscribed to the After Party Live, that's a single click as well, and it's free. Thank you so much. Oh, Walter says if I had that kind of money, I'd give most of it away. That's really nice. Calvin will try it on the 100th trip, right? Let other people be the guinea pig first, right? That's what I'm thinking too. Maybe. If it becomes something standard and safe, there's a possibility. I have to thank Wes for the $5 super sticker today. Really, really grateful. Julie throwing down a 5 as well. Luis with a 5 and Roz with a 2. You guys are all awesome. Thank you so much for supporting the show. And again, thank you to the ongoing contributors to this show, Paul T, Wes T, Isadora L, and Jim S. Very, very appreciative of you guys helping me continue the After Party Live, which is something I do want to do. So thank you for that. All right. We will say goodbye for now, but we'll be back at it tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow. I have some more good stories. I promise no more bug butt foam, but there's some more good stuff coming for you, including an electric snowmobile that is being created and the biggest energy plant in the world. Wait till you see how big this thing is. It is crazy. But have a really good rest of your afternoon. Make it a great day, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Thanks for spending your time on the After Party Live.
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.